getting so excited.
I
So
have
I'm just
first in the back. All the other people have them, and I'm actually just looking at that.
you need that, Jo. You need it.
Where's that Peloton gone? I have a Peloton. It's not there anymore.
It was the last time we spoke. It was there.
It was there this morning. So I think my husband's put it in the gym in the garage because it was annoying me. Because people think I'm fitter than what I actually am because I had it in my backside.
So this is my good friend Jo. If I can just pass over to you, Jo, to introduce yourself, that'd be wonderful. Thanks very much.
That's great. Well, thank you for the introduction, Paula. So my name is Jo Simpson. I am an accountant by trade, I say. I'm an accountant who doesn't like being an accountant. So unfortunately, I've sort of gone over the years and fallen into it and got more and more dragged back into doing accountancy because one thing I do love is money. So I love making money. I love helping my clients make money. I am super passionate about women making their own money. I do a lot of work with teenage girls in sort of deprived areas. I'm in Scotland. So in certain areas, I do a lot of work with the councils, helping teenage girls get really good mindsets around money. And that's my passion. So when I came across Profit First, which is what Paula's very good got in the background there, I don't even have a copy of the new book. The old one's mine on here. So Profit First, I don't know if anybody's heard of it. It's an American version of basically prioritizing profit in your business. So the system used to be called Pay Yourself First, but didn't work very well in the UK, because in the UK, we see that is you pay yourself before you pay your taxes. So that didn't go down too well in the UK. So they changed it to Profit First. So I am an accountant. I have a very successful accountancy practice, which I am very lucky to have an amazing team of bookkeepers in there. If they stop having babies, which seems to be my thing this year, they're all having babies. Amazing team of bookkeepers in there. And then I have 2 accountants who love being accountants and love doing end of year stuff, who take care of all of that for me. So I get to spend time advising clients and talking groups like this about making profit and why you should prioritize profit. So in your particular industry, I've worked with a lot of VAs over the years, and obviously knowing from what Paula does, you are very much in the industry where your time, very much like mine, this is why I can relate to you, your time is your money, you charge an hourly rate. My father always says I sound like a lady of the night, as he would call it, whenever I say that. But yeah, so you charge by the hour or a package price that you do. So you're very much limited to what you can actually do. So with my business as well, there's only so much time that we have. There's only so much work that we can do. So I'm all into scaling, but doing it in a way that everybody's still getting a good service. And that I've got other offerings as well, like my online courses and my membership. And obviously I know Paula's got her membership. So there's lots of things that you can do. So I'm not going to bore everybody with talking about how to do bookkeeping or accounts, because I'm pretty sure everybody knows that they have to do this. My finance club is actually called the Fearless Finance Club, because 99% of my clients all have a fear of doing anything finance related or looking at it. I always say it's like ripping off the plaster. Once you've done it, it'll be so much better. So you all know you need to keep records. You all know that you need to keep accounts. If you're a sole trader, I'm not sure if everybody's UK based, but if you're in the UK and you're a sole trader, from 2023 next year, you're going to have to do quarterly tax returns in the UK, making tax digital. So if you haven't, or if you're starting out, or if you're going to be developing your business, now's the time to really think about keeping your bookkeeping records. One of the reasons that limited companies, people are put off slightly by doing limited companies, is the fact you've got to keep really good records. So what they're doing is saying, well, you have to do that for sole trader as well. So it is all changing in the UK. So I know in Paula's membership, she's got a whole thing, which I'm going to be helping with as well, to do with being a limited company, being a sole trader. So I'm not going to talk about that today. So what I want to talk today is the fun stuff that hopefully will keep you engaged, and anybody who's watching the replay, which is all about making the profit. Now, I know, particularly in the UK, I've discovered after doing this for 5 years that we don't like talking about money. We don't like talking about being materialistic. We don't like talking about spending money on ourselves, and we put everybody first, and you're in business to help people. You're in business to give all of that. That is fantastic. And I'm totally for that. I love helping people. Paul will tell you, I work super hard to keep my clients informed and up to date with things, but I also like to make money, and I'm not ashamed to say that I like to make money, and I like to spend money on myself, my family, and it gives me the opportunities that I want. So profit first is all about, and even if you don't take anything about the profit first today, you've got to think about profit. Even if you are a sole trader working 5 hours a week and got a job, always have to prioritize profit. And if you do this, it is life changing. So my story quickly before I go into my presentation is that I've just had my 20th birthday in my business. I'm absolutely gobsmacked. I've made it to 20 years. And ironically, on the 20th year, the anniversary, I was working till 11 o'clock at night, probably harder than I worked on my first day in business. So sorry to, to wet on everyone's parade there, but it doesn't get any easier if you're just starting out. So 20 years in business. In 2008, I got very successful quite early on because I identified a niche. I identified that there was accountants out there who wants to do the reactive work. At the end of the year, they'll pull together your accounts, they'll tell you what your tax is. And I realized that there was a whole group of people out there who actually wanted to know, including myself, what my tax was going to be at any one stage. So I developed a pretty unique system, which I'm amazed is still very unique to this day, because accountants still are very reactive, where we work very proactively, making sure you know what you're planning for, what your profit you're making. So the business has done really, really well. And in 2007, I made quite a lot of money, 2006, and I invested into some clothes shops, which is clothes and beauty is my other passion. Bought those shops, predominantly serving high-end, you'll know where I'm going with this when I tell you this, bankers in the centre of Edinburgh. This was just before the Royal Bank of Scotland came crashing down in 2008, and my other businesses, aside from my bookkeeping business and accounts business, went, nobody was buying. These people who were spending £2,000 on a suit weren't doing it anymore. And I really had to go, right, okay, what do we do? We've got all this stock, the currency changed, there was a whole other things. And as an accountant, it could be really embarrassing to say that I didn't think about the exchange rate. Don't know if anybody can remember when the euro was 1.4 to a pound. So I suddenly had all these bills and the euro was 1 to 1, and it was a horrendous time. And I literally thought, it's fine, I'll cash in this, cash in that, cash in that. And before I knew it, none of my businesses had any money, and I was no word of a lie, days away from bankruptcy. And as an accountant, you can't go bankrupt. Clearly, there's reasons for that. There is people who do it and they phoenix and resurrect, but it wasn't up for me. So I negotiated with HMRC, got out the shit, sat there, pardon the French, I swear a lot. Sorry, Paul, I should have warned you about that. Got out of the shit and then thought, I'm going to turn my life around here. I'm never, ever going to be responsible, not have the responsibility on me for everything else. So the reason I tell this story is because the first step to managing your business finances, whatever you do, is to take responsibility. You have to say, right, this is my business finances. If you've got a bookkeeper, an accountant, whoever, doesn't matter. You are responsible for your accounts. That's what I did. I took responsibility, literally added up everything I had, which it turns out I didn't actually have as much as I thought I did because I'd spent it all. And then everything I was due out, and thought, I'm going to turn this around. I got into manifesting, which in those days was called cosmic energy. I'm sure you're all into law of attraction and things. Noel Edmonds got me into it. If anybody wants to buy a brilliant book on manifesting, Noel Edmonds' book is the best. Very, very simple. Nobody knows about that. You can go away and Google it. So he taught me that what you put out there, you get. So that was all of my work became around that. And I thought, I am not going to be responsible for, I'm not going to have no responsibility if the government have a crisis, if the banking have a crisis, if the world gets a pandemic, etc. So I'm really going to work hard and do this. And I remember speaking to an accountant who is a mentor to me, really, and he said, oh, just liquidate the business. The only debt you've got is with HMRC, and start up again. None of your clients will mind. And I remember thinking, actually, not one of my clients would mind. And actually, I did a lot of free work and recession for my construction client. Not one of them would have mind, but I did. I had a problem with that and thought, I can't go any further with that. I can't just the next day say, right, I've resurrected, this is what I'm doing. So don't get me wrong, there was 2 years of hell where I didn't take a penny from my businesses and paid off the debt, but I'd gone out of there. Then I started investing. And the only way I could invest was to be making profit in my business and all my businesses and prioritizing making that. So despite being really successful, having, there wasn't the thing there is now, which there is now, which everyone knows what I'm going to say, 6-figure business owners, 7-figure, there was none of that shite in those days. And it was more about, right, you can have all this revenue coming in, but if you're not making profit, what are you actually doing? And I'd say to everyone, I'm sure you're all very aware of this, if you see somebody online who's a 7-figure VA or a 6-figure VA, all the rest of it, they've got costs. They physically cannot do all of that work themselves. They've got overheads to do that. So be very careful what you do with that. So profit is my priority, and I've made profit my priority since 2008, and it has done me well. I've invested well. I've invested in different things that have worked well, things that haven't, other businesses. I've got a wide range of businesses now, which suits me because I'm a bit of a butterfly and I get bored very easily. So lots of different things going on. But the main thing was profit. And this is what I like to talk about. And this is what I'm going to talk about now. And I've babbled on a bit, but I've not gone over time. So I'm going to put a presentation up, but this is just really to make you think about the reasons why you want to make profit and why it's important to make profit. And the other side of it is to think about the reasons you don't want to make profit, because I get that all the time. I'm going to talk about some of them in here, and then I'm going to introduce you a little bit to profit first. I'll mention it more at the end, but in Paula's membership, she has the program Path to Profit, which is what it's an online course. It's a mini course that I given to Paula for her to use for her clients in her membership that teaches you how to implement everything that I'm telling you about. And then I've got a wee freebie for you at the end, which I think you'll all love because everybody does. And it's a simple calculator that you type in what you want to earn, actually you earn in your pocket, because so many people can get more and more money coming into their business and their money gets less and less and less. And they're the last person to get paid in their business. And don't get me wrong, there's times that we have to do that. I've had to do it several times over the last 3 years with COVID. The last person to get paid, but I've prioritized profit, and that's the difference. So the revenue calculator I've got shows you what you want to earn. You type it in, you put in your overheads, and it tells you exactly how much you need to bring into your business to make sure all your tax and everything's covered. Because Profit First also prioritizes making sure your tax paid. So none of us have that panic. Me, I'm always the one. I'm a dentist with bad teeth, can I point out? I do my tax return the last possible minute on the 31st of January. I'm not responsible for anything else in my business because it would never get done, quite frankly, because I prioritize everybody else. But I always make sure I've got the money there. So even if I don't know what my tax is exactly, it's always going to get done. So I'm just going to share my screen now and start my presentation, which just helps me keep on track with things more than anything. I think I've already mentioned I do swear a lot. So my presentation about everything that I do is about making your businesses profitable AF. I'm sure you can all gather what that means. If you've got kids in the room, and all my staff's kids think it means and fun, profitable and fun. So we'll go with that one as well. So for me, it's really important that I have to think why I want to do this. I also talk, as well as swearing a lot, I also talk about dieting a lot, because that's what I spend my two things doing the most. And making money in business to me is very much like dieting. People are always amazed at that. You have to know what you want to be. Why do you want to lose the weight? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to be able to wear new clothes? Do you want to be able to do all these different things? And it's the same with profit. And I am amazed. And I still, even last night, I got a text off somebody who said that they've been talking, everyone's got a friend. Everyone has a friend. My friend said, see Martin Lewis in COVID, I was ready to gut him down. If one more person told me, Martin Lewis said, now I'm pimping him to be prime minister. I think he'd be a brilliant prime minister. But why should you make profit? So this friend last night messaged me and said, oh, I was in the gym and the guy said to me, he's very successful, he's very well known in the area, and he says he never makes profit. He just spends everything because then he would have to pay the tax man. Can I do that? And my answer is, do what you want. I'm not your accountant. However, how in the UK, you can only pay yourself a dividend from a limited company if you make profit. The same with your sole trader. You have to make profit. So why would you want to be in business and not make a profit? It doesn't make sense to me. It's my bread and butter, so it wouldn't. So the different reasons I always say that you should want to make business profit. The biggest reason, and I can't stress this enough, even if you are just doing this part-time, as a little side hustle, anything that you do, you're creating a sustainable business. It's giving you the funds to live your best life, and it gives you the money to do everything that you want to do. If you want to invest for the future, it gives you the money for that. If you want to have experiences and travel the world or pay for your family to go on cruises, whatever you want to do, by having a sustainable business, that is going to do that. And the only way you can have a sustainable business is to be making consistent profits and have a profit structure in place. My controversial one, my other thing, so you've got my swearing, you've got my hate. I haven't told you about the hate of dogs. Paula told that before. My obsession with dieting, and the other thing is I love paying tax. So particularly here in the UK, I don't know if there is any Americans in the group or anybody from the US, but we have amazing things in here. It's very, very easy to get caught up in all the crap that we have going on in the UK, but I always say try and focus on all the amazing things. Our NHS, yes, it gets bad press. I don't personally watch any news to do with things like that, but I know for me, it's saved my life on 2 occasions now. It's been fantastic for my whole family. We've all had to use the NHS at some stage. And so this is what your taxes pay. They pay for your streets to be clean, for all the things. If you don't know where your tax is going, go into HMRC, go into your local community. It is hard. Do not get me wrong. When I'm paying my tax bill every January, particularly if I'm not being as organised as what I should be, I'm always, you know, right, okay, and pay. I make all my clients, which Paula hasn't done yet, she'll die when she has to. I make everybody take a picture of yourself paying your tax and celebrating it. The more you love paying tax, the more that you'll enjoy making profit. It is a work in progress. I'm not expecting everyone to love that, but most people are very negative about tax. Don't want to pay tax, don't want to do this. Ironically, Sweden, which is a place I go to a lot for work, I've got a client over there, a software company, they pay the highest tax rate in the whole of Europe. They pay really, really high tax. They're the most beautiful company. They're the happiest employees. They're the best working staff. They are so grateful for everything they get, and they pay the more tax. And it's because they've got a different mindset to it. They're not bombarded with the news like we are here. Cost of living crisis, obviously, being the latest thing that we're all talking about now. It's creating stability. So this will get you through. Now, this presentation, I can just point out, I've been doing a similar version of this since before COVID. And actually seeing my clients who did profit first, or a version of profit first, or prioritizing profit, it was actually great for me to see if you have a shite time, like I did in 2008, you're going to be able to maintain this, and you're going to be able to get through this. And they did, and they survived through COVID, even without government grants or anything. I had clients who were losing 500, 600,000 pounds a week in COVID. And they got through that because we had so much savings in terms of profit, and we'd invested well. So it creates stability in your business. The other thing that's really important to me, everyone in my world it's important to, I tend to attract people who are interested in this, and it's to be able to do good things with your money as well. So I give percentages, and if you don't do this, it's a brilliant thing to do. Choose a charity every year for your business, even if it's just 1%, a tiny little bit of your net profit, donate to that charity. They'll also give you publicity, which is great. You'll feel good, you'll do things for them. I choose 2 charities a year, and I've actually got an online shop where we sell products that people affected by the charities I support design goods for them as well. So we do that. I don't make any profit from that. It all goes back in. The big thing for me is that I can do free work for somebody, and I can support local businesses. So I do things with local councils, I go into schools, I teach people. It's great to be able to support, and I could not do that. If my business wasn't making profit, I couldn't take the time out, or I couldn't have the money to do it. So that's a big one for me. And to build a business net value. So never underestimate that somebody might want to buy your business one day. So if you think about when you started your business as a VA, you might have had 1 client, you might have had 2 clients, or you might have had a lot of people who said that they would come with you. I know certainly when I left my full-time job, and I wasn't actually working as an accountant because I didn't want to be an accountant, did my degree and then went off and I was doing sales. I was making very, very good money at a very young age. And it was big, scary time to go and leave. And I knew I had people who wanted to do it, but I knew I had to leave to do it as well. So when you're doing that, think about if another VA came along, they've come along, they want to set up, you're done. You've had enough. You want to do something else, or you're pregnant, or there could be a million things that's happened here. But you might say, do you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Somebody setting up in business could come and buy you. So they might buy your business. And even if you've got 2 clients, somebody might buy them and take them off you. So you can't do that if you haven't got a net value to your business. I do all sorts of things about business valuations and building your business for the future. Even if you don't think about it now, always have to think of the future. I decided 20 years ago I was going to sell my business. I think I was going to sell it by the time I was 40. That came and went. Although I know you're all thinking I only look 23. So doing that was what was my plan. And then I realized actually I wanted to keep doing my business. My business brings me good money in and good income. And actually if I sold it, I wouldn't get the income that I would get from it. And so I've kept it on and I've done it, but I've built my business to be able to sell. And that is crucial. Even if you're just doing 1 hour a week for somebody, always build it because it builds the net value. And you have to have profit in there. You have to have profit. If you don't have profit, somebody just buying the brand, and they'll go, why on earth are you doing this if you can't do it? So I'm just going to share a few tips that you can do straight away that can improve your profitability. The first one is look at your industry guidelines. So spend some time researching industry profit guidelines and how they apply to your business. So for you guys in the VA world, if you're on your own and you're doing it just on your own, you should be very, very profitable. You should have very little expenses in there. So I'd be saying for profit guidelines for your type of business, you should be looking at anything between 50 and 65% profit. So because that's what you're doing. If you're a one-man band doing that, as you grow, your percentage drops. And this is the one thing, and I do a free call every Monday morning called the Power Hour that anybody can come along to. And when they come on, it's the one thing people always say is that they think they need their percentage to be high. Some of my most successful clients have got maybe 1 to 2% net profit margins, but they're turning over hundreds of millions a year. So obviously the volume's there. So it's not always about the percentage. The important thing is to get the percentage right for you. If you're a one-man band, 50 to 70% net profit should be what you should be aiming for, because that's how you're going to get paid. For my business, 20% is a really good net profit, 10% is normal. So I always aim for the good net profit, the 20%. So look at your industry guidelines. In the course that actually is in the membership, there's a whole thing on there in different industries, something that you can help your clients with as well, you know, because as a VA, I know Katie, because Katie's actually a VA for one of my clients, my new clients, and she's involved, whether she wants to be or not, with some of the bookkeeping side of things. So it's important that, you know, you understand how this works. And this is an added thing that you can do for your clients as well, is, you know, help them become more profitable, because if they're profitable, and you'll all have it, and if you haven't, you know, I'm not being negative here, but you will have this at some stage because you're in the same game as mine, where you will get sometime they'll come along and they'll go, sales are not what I thought they were going to be, so I can't afford to pay your retainer anymore. And you will get that. If you haven't already had it, I'll be gobsmacked. So if you're encouraging your clients to be profitable and saying, look, for your industry, this is what it should be, they're making the money so that they should always be able to afford you as well. So, and this is one of the reasons that, well, it's without a doubt the main reason I've still got the 5 clients I started my business with 20 years ago. I'm pretty sure they want rid of me at some stage, but they could never do it. They could never do it now. And that's why I've got it, because I've done everything I can to make sure they're as profitable as F and fun, to make sure that they do that. So review your expenses. This is the simple one, and this is the one that everybody does. As soon as you have, you think you do it, actually, I'm going to rephrase that. So COVID, if everyone remembers back to when that announced, it was actually my birthday, the day that the world got locked down, and my best friend's mum died and everybody forgot my birthday, and then Boris Johnson announced that he was closing the country down. So didn't get any birthday messages, but got lots of, oh my God, what does this mean for my business? Oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And a very good friend of mine who is, we worked together, she worked for one of my clients years ago, set up a business, super successful, making really, really good money. She's worked really, really hard at it. Panicked, she's a very good friend. We go on holiday. She is, you know, we're super close, knows better, panicked, went on her app and cancelled direct debits from our business bank and cancelled her. She was in the construction industry, kind of point out, cancelled her insurance that covered her if any of her clients went bust, because she was. Now, when I say she's a millionaire and she's made very, you know, she's very, very good at what she does, but she panicked. Panic does that to you. I cancelled my pension payment because my pension payment's really high. And if you don't know, if you put into your pension, you can't get it back out. So I cancelled that. It was stupid. We all do stupid things. So reviewing your expenses is really, really important, that you don't just go and cut it all out. Mike Michalowicz, who wrote Profit First, which is the book in Paula's background that I should have, he always says, if in doubt, cross it out. When 2008 happened, online banking wasn't what it is now. You couldn't just see everything. And I remember getting this list of direct debits from the bank and not knowing what half of them were, because we had trade subscriptions, very, very big in the accountancy world, where you've got to get these manuals every month that they charge you a fortune for. I've never opened one in my life, still have to get them, but all of these different things that you're paying for, software, Asana, Canva, all these different things that you're paying for, look at it and say, are you getting return on investment for that? I do talk about that in the Path to Profit a bit more, so I'm not going to go on about it, but don't cut them out if they're essential for your business. I've had people cancel. Another famous story I tell was actually a VA it was actually, now I think about it, and she cancelled her BNI membership, which is a networking membership. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It's a real life one. You go at 7 o'clock in the morning once a week and meet everyone. She cancelled her BNI membership because it was costing her money and it was taking her time. She had time because she hadn't as much work. So she had time to go, and 95% of her client referrals came from BNI, and she cancelled it for £30 a month. So that just shows you, you've got to look at it. ROI, I talk about, I've got a lot of this stuff for free on my Instagram account if anybody wants to go and read about it, but return on investment is the big thing. If in doubt, cross it out. So income generating tasks. Now, you girls are my sisters in this. I don't know about you, but you might be different in this. Give me a VAT return, give me a set of accounts, give me actual client work to do. I can whiz through all of that. No problem at all. Sit down and do it. If somebody said to me, right, Jo, you need to go and do your marketing plan, or go and do Instagram lives or anything like that, or create something in Canva, you might all love that. I don't. Doing something like that for my business, that's going to do marketing for my business, you've lost me. I'm gone. I'll faff around. I'll do everything that I would never do to get out of doing it. So the important thing is, if you can't do it, you need to make sure you're doing something that is generating income. And if you're not doing it, you have somebody else. I had a website in my business made 14 years after I started. I have spent very, very little time on marketing, but what I do is I make sure that when I do it, that it's really good. So at the moment, I can't do much in marketing for my online business, but I offer a power hour every Monday morning where anybody can come along. That's at 1 hour. People can ask me as many questions as you want. Most people then join my club. They might become clients, and that's how people find me. 1 hour a week I spend on it. So income generating tax is not just marketing, it's things that are going to bring you money in. So your client work. I don't know if anybody knows Rob Moore. He is a very much, ironically, I work with a lot of men construction. My members club is females, female entrepreneurs only, but I do work predominantly with men. So I do read a lot of male books. So Rob Moore is a UK guy who borrowed some money, invested in a property, and is made money from that. And he's got a book that's called Life Leverage. It's quite an old book, but it's a brilliant book on how to leverage your time. And this will be how every single one of you will make money. I call it double dipping. So double dipping is when you might be working at one client, but you're doing a bit of the others, and you're doing everything in there. I'm not saying you do this and you're robbing people or anything like that, nothing of the sort, but you're trying to make sure your time is as productive as possible. We try and do some things for our clients as quickly as possible because we charge a monthly package. I know other bookkeepers and accountants out there, they charge by the hour. For me, I do a monthly package. It keeps it automated, it keeps it in there, because if you're charging by the hour, it can go on and on. So income generating tasks are really important for me. Rob Moore has a story about a guy who outsourced his job. He actually outsourced his job. He didn't have to turn up anywhere, be anywhere. It was just to work. He got paid his salary for it. He paid somebody in China to do this. And he then went and set up his business and did this whilst getting the income in. So that just shows you can, and I outsource everything. That's the other thing. That's my other top tip for everybody. Don't spend time doing things that other people can do. My hourly rate works out about £100 an hour, probably a bit more now. I am not cleaning my house. I've got absolutely no interest in cleaning my house. If you want to clean your house, that's fine, great, everybody to their own. I would rather spend that time shopping or doing something fun. So I pay people to do stuff. Even when I've had no money in the crappy times, I've always still managed to find the money to pay other people to do jobs. And in my business, it's certainly, IT is crucial for my business. I never scrimp and scrape on IT. We've got the best software, the best computers, the best IT company, because that makes me money. So that's my other top tip for you there. So 3 things that you can do straight away: look at your industry guidelines, review your expenses, and focus on some income generating tasks. Oh, I've only lost it there. So 3 things I want you to remember. This is actually on my wall in my office. I'm not in my office at this time of night. I'm in my cabin with my missing Peloton in my garden. So this is my saying for everything. Turnover is for vanity and profit is for sanity. So revenue, I don't give a shit what somebody's revenue is. Never have done. I do, because there's VAT implications. But turnover for me, if somebody says to me, I'm turning over 5 million, 100 million, 200 million, it means nothing to me. I'm interested in the profit. The profit was what will keep you sane. My family joke, because I'm quite religious, that they're going to have this on my gravestone. Spend time analysing your business. Could you cut some expenses? Do you need to increase sales? Do you need to improve productivity? These are things that are really crucial for your type of business. And normally when I get a new client or work with a client, or somebody comes on to do Profit First or comes along to the Power Hour, which is my free call on a Monday, which I've got people who come to that who've never paid me a penny, and I'll still support them every week. And we'll look at what they're doing. And generally speaking, very rarely do you have to cut expenses. It's normally two things. You need to increase sales or stop buying online courses. That or software. So that seems to be the thing that people seem to do. Memberships, anything like that where you get monthly support is great. $2,000 on a course that's going to teach you something that you probably already know. You know, if you've got the money there, brilliant, do it. But only spend money on things that are actually going to generate something for you, give you that ideas, give you the things that are doing it. I buy a lot of online courses, have done since 2015 when I came into the online world. And every single one of them, I've got something out of them, even ones that have sat there and I've done nothing, because that's reminded me not to get FOMO and missing out on something. So generally speaking, increasing sales, or when you've got more money there, not suddenly going, oh, I've got all this money, I can afford to do X, Y, Z. And then the last one's be realistic. And my story I always tell is actually based on a VA, which is very handy for you guys. So I had a VA came to me probably about 2014, 2015. She's still a client now. She's now an online business mentor. She changed what she was doing slightly, but she was a VA. And she had left her job to be a VA, had very, very high expectations of the income she wanted to generate on a monthly basis. So I said, right, great. So are you taking staff on, subcontracting out? Well, what are you going to be doing? Oh, no, I don't want any of that. I just want to do it on my own. What's your charge rate? £25 an hour. Right, we're going to be struggling here to make you money. So you've got to be realistic. I'm all for making big targets, big scary targets. I'm all for all that, but be realistic. If I said, which I do a lot, I need to lose a stone by next weekend, it ain't going to happen. I can't do that unless I got ill, I suppose. Physically can't do something. What is the point in putting something that's unrealistic? Set yourself realistic targets. I do a very, very simple spreadsheet. It's one page, super simple in Google Docs. People in my club do it on a monthly basis and we keep it up to date. What I want to make, realistically what I can make, and then this sort of big, scary F-off goal, as I call it, is what could you do, and be realistic what you do. If you need to make money, which we'll have a look at the calculator in a minute, if you want to make more money in your business and you can't do it because you're charging an hourly rate, that's when you have to look at other things. Can you create printables? Can you create, all these different things, which is one of the things I know Paula will cover in her membership is how can you generate as much income as you possibly can without burning yourself out, because we are ladies of the night and we will burn ourselves out if we continue to charge by the hour. So quickly going to run over the principles of Profit First. Can anybody just tell me, has anybody, I never look at chats, Paula, I should have warned you. I normally, Krista always looks at chats, so if there's anything in the chat, but has anybody heard of Profit First?
Nothing in the chat, yeah.
Okay, if you can just put your hand up so I can wave to me and tell me if you've heard of Profit First. Nobody heard of it? Yeah, Paula's heard of it because you've got the book there. So what happens with Profit First? Everybody gets the book, reads it and go, oh my God, utopia, this is me. I never pay myself first. I pay my subcontractors, I pay my bills, then I pay anything left. Then they go away and try and implement it and then realize that actually it's very American. It is very American. And the banking system in the UK is slightly different, but the main principles stay the same. So when I became a Profit First certified coach, I think it was about 5-6 years ago now, there was 4 of us. I think there's about 20 of us now. So there's quite a lot of us in the UK. We've actually now got our own group in the UK because all of us have got very different views. I'm interested in working with people at the startup stage, and I'm only interested in working with female entrepreneurs. So there's other people in that who want the big turnover clients, all the rest of it. That doesn't appeal to me. I want to make as many women as possible, make as much profit as possible. So this is the book. So basically, what is it? It's a behavioral-led system. And the reason that so many accountants don't like it, and if you mention it to your accountant and they go, oh no, I'm not doing that, is because it actually, it's very much focused on how an entrepreneur thinks. As an accountant, if anybody's had their accounts done before, your accountant will go, here's your accounts, this is your balance sheet, blah, 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 blah. And you'll go, yeah, but I've only got £5 grand in my bank. Where is it all? I've only got £5 grand in my bank. I'm pointing at my phone because we all look at apps now for your banking. So what Profit First does is it focuses on how entrepreneurs think, which is what is in your bank account. So that's how you make your decisions based on your natural behavior. And I think this is actually why I love it so much, because I don't and I'm very honest about this, I don't love the accountancy side, all the box ticking and making sure all of that stuff. I have plenty of people who can do that, but I love the fact that I'm an entrepreneur first and foremost. It's what's made my business successful, because I can really relate to my clients, which a lot of accountants can't, because they've not been in industry, they've not, put houses up for collateral or anything like that. So I get what it's like to do that. And it's really, really simple. It's based on the method of paying yourself first, the envelope system for allocating money and setting budgets. So I'm, in case you didn't guess, I'm not from Scotland. I'm from the Northeast. 27 years I've been in Scotland now. But my granny, who I lived with a lot when I was younger, because my mum was a Kriya woman, and she used to can you remember the days where you used to go and get your pension from the post office? So my gran used to do it with a little trolley, the food trolley, go and get that. And she used to come back, and I used to watch her, and she had envelopes. So she'd get her pension, her and my granddad's pension, she'd put money into each envelope. And I remember even then, before I even thought of any of this, which is serendipity really, thinking and saying to her, why are you putting money in for the coal? Because we used to have coal. I'm really showing my age now. So when the coal envelope was there, but the coal man doesn't come this week. And she was like, yes, but I put the same amount away every week. So when the coal man comes once a month, I'm not taking it out of that week's. I've got £10 put away, or whatever it was, each week for the coal. So that is how Profit First works. Every bit of income you get into your business, you put a little bit away into different envelopes, which is actually bank accounts. And it works so simply. And like I say, if my gran, who never worked and had a cantankerous old husband who made her go and collect the pensions every week, and he sat on his arse doing nothing, that was what she did. And she could have got a pension the week that the coal was due and pay the coal man from that, but then she wouldn't have had enough money for anything else. So I use the coal story because it's easier to think of it, is get every money you get in, you spread it out. So that if you have a month where you don't make so much, you've still got enough to pay yourself, because you've been putting money away each week you've done well. My business is very heavily led, which I'd imagine a lot of yours is as well, where people pay me all at once. So I get a huge amount of money in at the end of the month and the beginning of the month. We've had a lot of new clients since COVID, because a lot of people have moved over to us. So I've got a few dotted around the rest of the month now. Everybody pays me direct debit. If you don't have clients paying you direct debit, it's the best thing I can actually recommend. Go cardless is what I recommend for you. It's super simple if you don't use it. Don't have to chase debt. Never have to chase debt. So you've got the money coming in. So some weeks I might have £50,000 pop into the bank. I would transfer the percentages over to the other accounts. The next week there might be only 2. Same percentages go over. And then that builds up and builds up and builds up. So instead of actually changing your habits, i.e. dieting, saying you're going to go to the gym 7 days a week, when you couldn't physically do that even if you wanted to, just do 2 times a week. Can you manage 2? Don't work with your habits that you've got. And that's why Profit works well. So it's allocating money to different accounts. Then the important bit is removing the temptation to borrow from them, which is not very easy. And trust me, I've been there and done it. Reverse engineering, this is the very accounting term. So if anybody wants to ask their accountant about this, they'll love this. So a reverse engineer is the GAP formula. The GAP is the general accounting and practice. So basically, everyone will know this. And if you don't, you need to go and do a little bit of bookkeeping work. Sales minus expenses equals profit. That's how it's always been done. You've got your cost, your sales, your revenue. You take off your overhead, your expenses, and what you're left with is what your profit is. So what we do is say, we don't want that. We want to have sales. Then we want to make sure we've made profit, and then whatever we've got left is for expenses. And it sounds so simple, and it is. And I think this is where people go wrong with the Profit First book, because they read it, they listen to it. It's a brilliant book. Mike McCallowitz is an amazing man. He's coming live in my members club actually just before Christmas. He does loads of other books as well. He's absolutely fantastic. He's not an accountant, he's an entrepreneur. And this is how he came up with that. And he is fantastic at talking about it. He said, look, it's working with what you're doing. It's changing the way that you think. And it's so simple, but it goes into a lot of detail. So a girl, a woman I've met in business, she comes to my power hour. I think she's probably bought one of my cheaper programs that we do, the smaller programs. And I actually climbed Snowdon with her last year. She was part of a group I was climbing. And she said, in 30 years in business, she said, I have never made the profits I'm making now. She had a salon, big salon. She had 30 staff in the salon. She was in with her 3 sisters. And she says, now when the salesperson comes in, think about it, the salesperson coming into a beauty salon with all the beauty products is a bit like you guys when you get a bit of new software. or you go, oh God, this is going to change my life. That's how these people work. Shiny object, buy it. She goes now, no, I don't have that in my expenses. And she just messaged me the other week because I hadn't seen on my calls for a while to say that she sold her business and they got more money for it than they thought because they prioritized profit. And that's from literally just doing it. And she did it in a book. I'm a paper person as well. She literally, she showed me a photograph of it when we were climbing Snowdon. She literally wrote it all out in a book. And that's how she did it. But because she prioritized, she was able to do that. And I think it's obvious why I love it. Behavioral led, it's designed with you in mind. It's not designed with an accountant. But the flip side of that, probably goes in my favor, is that not many accountants like it. The 2 accountants who work for me don't like it. They say this is ridiculous. I've got all these bank accounts to reconcile, blah, 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 blah. But then when they see our clients consistently making profit, not having, the big thing for me was in COVID, seeing the clients who actually, they did worry about money because nobody knew what was happening, but actually having money put away there, it was incredible for me. So people are coming around to it, and there's more accountants. The fact that we're growing in the Profit First community in the UK prioritizes profit. I've already mentioned that. It's focusing on that first. The big thing for me, it gives me peace of mind. I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night thinking, what the hell is my tax bill? What are the sorry, I'm really bad for what's my tax bill going to be? How am I going to be able to do this? You know, what have I got enough money to pay? I still do, and people often surprised, even though I flipped from being in 2008, I do what I call my cash in my chips, which is a spreadsheet. Like, it's very simple. I say it's a spreadsheet. It's the tiniest spreadsheet in the world. But basically, I work out if I decided I wanted to move to the Bahamas tomorrow, sold everything I own, jewelry, cars, handbags, you name it, cashed in everything, paid off all my debt, what would I have? And I went from in 2008 being a very big negative, basically owing out more than I had, to being in a substantial profit now, substantial upcase. And I still wake up in the morning and I go, oh, what if this client does this? What if that client happens? What happens? I still panic, but I know that I've got a system in place that's going to give me that peace of mind. And I know I've got I know my clients are going to have the tax. That I can't explain as an accountant. One of the things we all hate doing, and we're all in forums, which I'm sure you guys are in as well, because getting support from other people, that's what I love about Paula's Academy, is what get in her membership, getting the support from people who do what you do. So every accountant in January, every single one will message in the group saying, God, you'd think I actually personally developed that person's tax bill the way they're shouting at me. And I'm like, yeah. And we all do that. But I know my clients, one, know how much the tax is probably going to be, and two, has got that saved for it. So it's great, because we do take it personally when somebody says to us, oh my God, can't afford to pay that tax bill. Or if I get a client who comes to me and says, oh, my accountant's given me a big tax bill. Well, technically that's not the accountant's fault. So anyway, it gives people a peace of mind. So implementing Profit First in your business, it is a whole thing to be able to do this. I'm just going to quickly tap through these and then just quickly talk about them. In Paula's Academy, she's got a membership. She has got the Path to Profit, which is a simple 4-step system to go through it. And this is very much based on if you were going to be implementing the whole thing. I'm not going to be able to teach you this in the next however many minutes we've got. I'm not good with time. We're okay at the moment. But basically, if you do anything at all from today, no matter what you've got coming in, from tomorrow, go and phone your bank. You literally phone up, or if you've got Starling or anything like that, they've already got this set up for you, even better. Starling and Tide have it set up. Phone your bank and ask them for another bank account. Tell them it's a savings account. They don't charge you for that. You've not got charges for anything. And you basically, they'll set it up. Santander, who's the bank I'm with, I can't be with Starling or Tide or anything because they've got a limit in turnover at the moment. I am with one of my businesses. Starling is brilliant because you've got the pots already set up for that. You phone your bank, you say to them, I want 3 bank accounts. I'm telling you one because I always say start simple. Don't try and lose a stone in a week. Start very simple. You get a bank account. And what you say then, every penny you've got coming in, you decide you're going to put some of that money away. Even if it's 1%, 2%, 3%, whatever you want to do, just put some money away. The biggest mistake people do is they try and start too high. So I do an assessment of businesses to see what their genuine percentages are, if they've got a background. If they haven't, I'll tell you the industry guidelines. But I always say to people, start small. If you try and go in there too big, like dieting, you're going to fail. You're setting yourself up for fail. Start small and see when you see that profit building up and building up. And then every 3 months or every 6 months, have a purpose for that profit. know where that profit's going. So every 3 months, I do my profit distribution. I decide what I'm going to do with that profit. Generally, most of the time it goes to me, but I do have a fund in there that goes, I have staff bonuses. I always give my staff bonuses. It's one of the reasons I think they've stayed with me so long. So they get a cut of the profit. I put some into what we call our fun fund, which can be a spa day. Generally speaking, it's a night out on the drink, night out in Edinburgh. We'll get a cocktail man round. They can do whatever they want. So we have our fun. Then I have my, I already have my standard already coming off that, my contributions to charity, but then I have another pot for the charities. Then I might say, do you know what, actually, I don't need to take that money out now. I might put it in my pension, very, very tax efficient, or I might just say I'm going to leave it because next quarter I'm going to buy some new software or going to do something like that. So, but have a purpose for that profit. So the 2 tips I'm going to give you without going into how to implement Profit First, there's just not enough time to do it, is to set up at least one more bank account. Most of you might even have one, and just transfer every time money comes in, or once a week, once a month. Profit First, this, I have to do this official Profit First thing, which is the 10th and 25th. That doesn't work in the UK. I do it weekly. So people come along on my Monday morning call at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning. So we start our week doing finance, puts you in the right frame of mind. They add up all the money they've had in their bank from the Monday before to that date, and they move money over. It is so simple. They just go, right, 10% of my profit, 5% into my tax, blah, 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 blah. I know I've told you wanted to put away profit, but that's just to get you started, and hopefully, or anybody's watching this as a replay, will want to do and implement this properly. Then you can have your accounts. But just to mention on the tax is, generally speaking, most people save too much tax. They'll automatically say, oh, well, I put 20% away for everything I get for tax. You're saving too much tax, because remember, you've got expenses. So I'm not a believer in saving. I've always got to be careful how I word this. Make sure you have enough tax, but don't oversave your tax. Make your money work for you. You want your money to be working for you. So if that can be in your profit account, that can be invested. You can buy stocks, shares, bonds, all sorts in your business name, or you can take it out and do it personally. It's totally up to you what you want to do. I'm personally interested in building my personal wealth, not my business wealth. So I take it out, invest it in my name, but I've got clients who've, you know, I've got millionaire clients who've got very, very high net worth businesses, and their businesses own gold, silver, that kind of thing, because that's a really good way to put your money. Not saying anybody's going to do that at this stage, but there's all sorts of things that you can do with a business. Speak to your bookkeeper, making sure you've got everything set up. But that's the basics of implementing the Profit First. Set up a separate bank account and decide on the percentage that you're going to do from tomorrow. If you're going to be really good students without any training at all, go and set up a bank account for your tax as well and put that away. Also, schedule it in. You girls will all love this. I use Asana. We also use Trello, but I have all of it set up in Asana. So as I mentioned, I'm a dentist with bad teeth. I don't do my own bookkeeping or accounts, but because I take part in the weekly power hour on a Monday morning, my bookkeeper emails me and says, you've had £42,000 pop into your account this week. I type the figure into the sheet that all my power hour girls get, and it says transfer this much money to this and that. And then I email her back and say, transfer all this money. And we have that in the software. So if she was off, we can do it. It's important for me to do that. It's important for you guys to do that. Even if I don't do anything in my business, it keeps me accountable, and it makes me accountable for doing it. Even though I'm not doing the bank transfers, even though I'm not doing the bookkeeping because nobody would let me, I'm actually doing the physical thing of working out what the amount is, because that's so important. You're taking responsibilities for this. So just to finish up before I give you your little cheat thing is, start slowly. We've talked about that. Even if it's only a tiny amount, schedule in the transfers. If you want to put in the power hour, great, you know, come along to that every Monday for free. If you can't come to it, put it in the sequence, do it the way that you should be. And there is a bit of mindset woohoo on this. I have no idea whether Alison, who's my bookkeeper, who does this, actually does this, but she's meant to transfer them in a sequence. So put your money into your profit account first, then to your owner's pay account, then your expenses, then your tax, do all of that. I'm pretty sure she won't, but she tells me she does. And remove temptation. I have a bank account with Virgin that I find incredibly difficult to log on and get. I'm always losing the password. I can never get it reset. I hate it, so I never log on and check it. But with that, I also get, so I actually put a bit of my profit into that every 3 months as well. But with that, I get a Virgin Club card, which means I can go to all the lounges. There's all lounges in every major city. So if I was going to visit Paula, I could go to the Virgin Lounge there, work in there. I get to do all of that. And then I've got my buggeration fund sitting there that if I need it, I can get it. I do get a paper statement every 6 months. It actually just came in today, that I can see it, but it takes it away. I'm guaranteed if I had access to that, the money would have been out at some stage. I do this for a living, so I do borrow from my accounts, full transparency there. But for everybody else, I say don't borrow it. If you can't afford to pay your bills, if your expenses account hasn't got enough money in it, you need to review, are your expenses too high or are you putting too much away in profit? And that is it. So that's my Instagram. That's where I am. That's the only place I really am now. And I say I'm using the term loosely. Myself and my marketing manager is on there. And that's where I sort of give all my free stuff and things. So I'm going to quickly stop sharing and then I'm going to show you once I see if anybody's got any questions. Whiz through it. Paula, you can speak.
Good job. Good job. Well done. It is a lot to take in. I'm hoping that people understand the principles of it. I mean, it's essentially the envelope analogy, I think, really does explain it really well, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And I think that the difference with the envelope and the reason that I use that one is because people think, right, this week I won't put any money away. And that's where you go wrong. And like I said, Fran, I'm pretty sure she would, I mean, I don't believe she had debt. I don't believe she had a bank account. The fact she used to have this cash in her hand. But essentially, she could have afforded to pay that week. And you see it all the time. Everybody must have come across somebody. I do in the pub I go to, where you see everybody out on payday, on Friday, payday. They're all there, all the, you know, I work with a lot of construction people. They're all boozing, oh, being paid. And then they're not seen for another 3 weeks because they're spending all their money then. And that's what you do.
Yeah.
So you have to sacrifice other things. So if you're every week, and I do this in my personal business, in my personal finances as well, I do a version of it. Which I have I have a permanent fund in my personal accounts because I like spending money. So but if that goes, I actually use a credit card. I do it opposite. If my credit card goes too high, because I can see that every day, wouldn't recommend this to anybody. I go, oh shit, I'm spending too much. That works better for me, my credit card going up rather than my bank account going down. So the envelope system works really well. It is a lot to take in, but I want people to get, even if they want to watch a bit of it back, to understand why profit is so important, even if you're just a small business starting up or so many months down the line with it.
Well, I mean, obviously I've got you now to hold my hand with this, but when I did read the book, you're quite right. I read the book and, well, no, actually I listened to it on Audible, but I like to buy the book because I need to see the little images and stuff like that. And
I always buy a book. If I listen to it on Audible, then I buy the business book.
I know, I know it sounds ridiculous, but I like doing that as well. Yeah. And I listened to it on Audible, and it sounds quite simple, but I did struggle with it a bit. But what I did do is I set up a direct debit to pay out to a charity every month, a minuscule amount, but I did it. And I set up, I'm with Starling anyway, so I've got my what they call them, areas, parts, yeah. So I did start doing that, and I was only putting in 1% profit into there. But it really changes your whole mindset. I mean, just giving a little bit away to charity and saving enough for your tax and your for your putting your profit away totally changed my whole mindset around the money. And like you say, it takes away that sort of stress of, you know, the looming tax bill. I mean, I think making tax digital is actually going to help with that as well. Like, you know,
I'm a big fan of it, a huge fan of it.
Because
the main reason as well, and this is interesting that people say it, the big thing for me is that most of my clients who I don't have very few sole trader clients now, but if I do have a sole trader client who do their bookkeeping once a year, because I would do that, and I do, well, I don't, somebody else does that with one of my sole trader businesses. We're all rushing around at the end of the year, and I know I'll miss things because there'll be things we've got a holiday letting business, and I know my husband is crap at, he'll go and buy stuff for it and put it all around our shopping in the house. So that's getting missed. If we were doing that every 3 months, we would be keeping on top of it. So you're actually missing out on tax savings by not doing it. So I think it will really, really help.
I have to say, I don't do my own bookkeeping. Well, it's coming across to you, but as you know, I had Sophia before that. But when I was doing my own bookkeeping, I did it monthly religiously because I cannot bear the thought of that. But what it also made me do is I put through things like, you know, like the percentage of my mobile phone and the percentage of because I'm using my own home.
Yeah.
And so those things weren't forgotten as well. So that was also quite good about keeping on top of it.
Yeah, you do. You have to keep on top of all of it. So yeah, it's just really important that you get a system that works for you, software that works for you.
Yeah.
You know, anything like that. So there's, yeah.
And am I right in saying that people are going to have digital software, aren't they, next year?
The big thing was for VAT, which everybody goes, why is this a big thing for VAT? Because who on earth would do a manual VAT return? Well, let me tell you, there are still people out there who have a little Excel sheet. So most people on software for that. But yes, from next year, from 2023, you'll have to have some software.
And that's sole traders as well.
Sole traders as well. For anybody, any smaller businesses or anything like that, and for what you guys do, the one I recommend is QuickBooks. I actually don't use QuickBooks or Xero myself. I'm a Sage girl through and through. I absolutely love Sage. I'm very old school, but my team use it. But from all the software that they use, Cashflow is another one. QuickBooks is cheap as chips compared to Xero. Xero is obviously the other one. Xero is brilliant in retail. It's fantastic for bigger businesses, multi-currency, that kind of thing. But people get it when they don't actually need it. And you're about, I think it's about £30 a month. So QuickBooks get much cheaper. So yeah,
I got Xero, but a little quite secret tip is I became a Xero partner. So I just did all the training, and then I got Xero for free. And then if my clients wanted to use Xero and put it through me, then that helped me keep my Xero for free. But I've actually stopped that now. But that's why I went with Xero. But I do really love Xero.
Yeah,
there isn't any other free software. There used to be things like Wave.
Yeah, there is Wave. There is another one which it's not Cashflow. It is called Free Agent. It's free, surprisingly, called Free.
Is that the one that you get free with the NatWest account?
Yeah, NatWest on RBS in Scotland, but I think they've got a version of it as well that anybody can get free.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Starling Bank actually have a bit of software that's free as well, but it's not something I would ever recommend. You'll spend longer. Remember what I said about working out your chargeable rate, working out your time. I would spend longer trying to faff around doing something. I'm all for convenience. So
yeah.
You know, QuickBooks is the cheapest and probably the most and they're really coming up now. They're right behind Xero. Sage dropped off the cliff of the earth, but I'm still banging the Sage drum.
I remember doing all the Sage training years ago. I wouldn't know where to start with it now. To back up your analogy there, so on my sales call, another little hint and tip for virtual assistants, that when they're on their discovery call with potential clients, I actually I used to be a practice manager for a dental practice. My background's all practice management pretty much. And in the dental practice, we worked out that we had to have our dentists earning £200 an hour. And so what I always say on sales calls is, you know, you should never, so to potential clients, you should never be doing anything in your business that isn't earning you £200 an hour. So if you're picking up the phone for the receptionist, you're costing the business a lot of money. And this is always a really good way of demonstrating to business owners, is like they need to put their time in the high value tasks, exactly as you said. And when you put it to them that way, they're like, oh, why am I doing admin that I can pay you £30 an hour to do when I can go away and earn £100 an hour? And I'm just the same. I say the same thing. I would rather earn my hourly rate and pay and lose the £15 an hour I give to a cleaner, than do the cleaning. So it's a really good way to think about it. It's a really good way to sell.
I'm quite lucky that a lot of the clients I started with or have worked with have developed the businesses over the years and are very successful in what they do. And actually 3 guys who were in the construction industry, very, very well known in Scotland, very big businessmen. I've been with them for each of them over 18 years, and none of them have got a computer. They do everything on their phone. Everything.
Really?
Everything on their phone. They wouldn't be able to tell me to the nearest million what they had in the bank account.
Oh, I've got a client like that. He deals in diamonds, and he's like,
and you know, it's because they get everybody else doing everything. And that's what makes it successful. And people are often they say, oh, do you have, and you guys will be like, do you have this spreadsheet for this client, this? And you know what, my clients who are the most successful, make the most money, they get literally it's a tiny little report. And then I'll have clients come over and place, oh, can you do this report? Can you do it? You don't need it. You don't need it. I don't have it for my business. Simple. Keeping it simple is so, and they do. Most successful high-end business people, they always get people to do it. It's easier said than done. And I did it. I ended up in my business saying, right, I'm not going to do any client work, I'm just going to be a CEO or whatever the code word was. This was in 2005, distinctly remember it. And after 3 days, balls to the, then I said I was going to work from home, and then spent 4 days, and because my husband's retired, went, oh my God, I can't work from home. So I've always had an office. I'm only at home now because I've got a cabin in the corner of my garden, so nobody can disturb me. But no, all these things, all these high hopes. I'm just going to give you one last book, and I'm going to quick, I know we've ran on. This is another one. If anybody's not read that.
Oh, that's a brilliant book. Yes, I've got that as well.
And then my other one, which you girls will all know, because this is
got that one as well.
What you do. They're my 3 books, and trust me, I have read every single bloody one of them over the years. Right.
Yeah.
Have I got time to quickly show the calculator?
Yeah, please. I could talk to you all night. I'm sorry, everyone, holding you up.
No, it's fine for me. It's just everybody else.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants this, I'm going to put a little link in. If you can give me your email address, I can get this link emailed over to you. It's something that we give people, because I'm often asked, I'd say often, quite a lot asked, by people, well, I just need to know, I want to earn this much money. What do I need to bring in to get that? And they're always surprised. So you'll have had this where you'll think, okay, well, I want to earn £2,000, so I need to bring 2,000 into my business. And this is where you'll go wrong. So this is actually really helpful for one-man bands, smaller businesses, ones that don't have a massive amount of expenses. And this is about prioritizing your profit. So what I've got in here, it's very, very simple calculate. Anybody can do it. But I say, what do you want to earn? So this is what you want to take out of the business. So all your personal expenses, what you want to save, your debt payments, any ad hoc payments, that kind of thing. So this is, for me, my figure is £5,000. So that's what I want to earn every month. I do want to take a profit share later on, but you'll see on this, I've actually put some profit away, so that I don't need to worry about that. 5,000 is what I want in my hand every single month. So somebody started editing that whilst I'm talking about it. It's a bit odd. I've suddenly done that. So we've got £5,000 is what I want to earn. So I could say, and actually in one of my businesses, I could say, right, I want to earn £5,000 out of this. My monthly business expenses for all my software. I've got 1 member of staff in that business, and everything I have to pay out for the business is £2,000 a month. And for that, I'm going to have a tax saving on here of 27%. So remember, I spoke in the profit first bit. Don't get confused with that, where I said don't put too much tax away. This is totally different. This is saying, right, to get you 5,000, how much tax would you have had to pay? Limited companies, you pay 18% at the moment. It's going up next year. Sole traders, you pay 20%, then you pay 9%. It's very, very confusing. Rounded up to 27, always round to 27 on that. So you're going to say, right, I want to put 27 away. And actually my profit, I'm just starting out, so my profit is going to be 5%. This then gives me a figure that I need to bring into my business every month. This particular business, if I want to earn 5,000, I want to put away £2,000 for my expenses, and I want to save enough for tax, and I want to still be profitable because I want to take a bit of that profit as well. That's what I need to bring in. So it's a very, very simple calculator that anybody can have, and it's really handy. You can use it with your clients as well if anybody's got it. It's so simple, but it shows you what you need to have. So I'm just going to quickly put the link in here. I think somebody was somebody editing that, Paula. Paula's now my IT guru because I am useless.
I don't know how Sam was doing it. I think she was in the whiteboard.
I don't know how I did that. I was trying to zoom in.
Well done. I'm impressed in that. I've never seen that before. Yeah, if you will have to sign up for my thing on here, but Krista, that's a way of me getting email addresses for Krista to send it over to you. You can just opt out if you don't want to do it. I'm just going to put the link in there, which gives you my other freebie as well. Oh, hang on. Sorry. See, this is why I don't do these things. Paula, you now know why Krista comes on everything with me. This is the
Krista's her VA.
Yeah, she is. She's actually not. Nicola is, but Nicola's off on maternity. She had a twin 8 weeks early. Krista's actually my marketing manager, but she loves doing anything organized, and I am the least. I can't be bothered with anything. Right, that's the second one. So the first one's to get on our wait list. The second one gives you my 5 steps to financial management, and then it also gives you that revenue calculator, which Chris is going to send to you, all of you put onto there. So hopefully everyone found that useful.
Well done. That's lovely. Thank you.
Katie,
so much.
Mind blown yet, Katie, because I know you, so I can.
I thought it was really helpful. Well, just looking at it from the point of view as a VA and my own business, but then for clients. I found some very useful tips. So it was really good. Thank you.
Because remember, you guys have got, you're like me, you have access. You know, somebody said to me, how do you know, well, before I did direct debit, how do you know you'll always get paid? I see their bank accounts. I know if a client's going, you know, got problems. So you guys are in that position where your people trust you. And I know certainly, you know, I've got a PA, but she's more than a PA now. She's a director. But in fact, all my staff do. They know everything about my life. They come to it was my grandson's birthday party on Sunday. All the staff came to my grandson's birthday party. He's my step grandson, in case everyone is heard. They came to that. My family, they see all my bank accounts. They know everything because I have to trust them to be able to do that. And people trust you guys to do these things. So any added things that you can add on like this, super simple, but no brainer. Help them make money, and then they can afford to keep you.
Exactly.
And pay you more importantly, which is what we all strive for.
Yeah, exactly that. Has anybody got any questions before we hop off for the evening?
I've done well to not drink wine on this as well. I didn't manage to not swear, but I haven't drank wine, so you know.
There's time for that still.
Oh no, I don't drink after 8. That's my other rule. Well, lovely to see everyone. And obviously in Paula's group, she's got in her membership, she's going to have access to the Path to Profit, which is a very super simple. I know I probably haven't been simple tonight, but my course is, I promise, super simple for everybody to do it, and you can implement it straight away.
Great, Jo. Thanks so much. That's really, really helpful.
Everybody, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow if you can make it for the case study. Now, the case study is actually going to be our Katie, who's here, because Katie is one of my students on, I can't remember which cohort it was now. Was it 1 or?
The first one.
First one. And and now Katie's a fully fledged VA, probably fully booked, overbooked probably. And as you heard, she's working with one of Jo's clients. So Katie's going to share with us her story tomorrow, and going to be available for any questions as well. So that's going to be really interesting. And then the final session tomorrow evening is going to be about, well, it actually fits quite well with what Jo's talked about tonight, and it's about, you know, what could be beyond just the VA part. Now the VA part is brilliant for people like, say, Katie at the moment, who's got young children, and you don't want to do anything more than your hourly rate right now. It fits in perfect, but in the longer term, I'm absolutely certain Katie will want to stop selling her time hourly and stop being a lady of the night, as it were.
You're going to use that now, aren't you? You're all good.
The difference doesn't help.
My dad still would say the lady of the night. So.
I'm going to start rumours about Katie if I'm not careful. Yeah, so I mean, so we're going to be looking at what else is possible beyond, you know, if you want to grow your business into beyond the hourly rate thing. So that's tomorrow night. So I'm going to let you go because we've run over. Thanks very much for staying to the end. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Jo, for everything. Really, really insightful and really helpful, and just such a simple tip that can save so much stress. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks for your time.
Great, lovely to see everyone. Good luck, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the summer.
Bye.
Bye all.
Bye.
Night now. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.